another big issue out there is going to be crypto. And their problem here, there's still no clear understanding of whether crypto tokens are securities or whether they're currencies. And still no Bitcoin ETF. Grayscale, of course, is suing them. Right. Our friends over there. Handicap this. Talk about the Grayscale suit. So they're suing them, arguing you can't have a futures product and not have a spot product. It's illogical, makes no sense. What are the chances Grayscale could win?
I think the chances are more than 50-50 that they could win this lawsuit. However, I don't think that means that all of a sudden we get a Bitcoin ETF. I think there's actually a higher likelihood it means that they shut down some of the futures-based products. Not a particularly popular opinion, but there's no way to force a regulator to approve a product. That you can't actually mandate a regulator to take an action. You can slap their hand about having failed to take certain actions or having taken actions you disagree with, but the way they fix that problem is still up to the SEC. I suspect that even if Grayscale wins, Gensler is going to back even further away from crypto and not necessarily approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, but put some constraints around the futures-based products while we wait for maybe someday comprehensive crypto regulation and legislation in this country.
Right. In the meantime, the critics argue that Gensler is doing regulation by enforcement.
Which he absolutely
He's actually suing the daylights out of the crypto business.
And very, very capriciously, right? He is suing certain companies for certain acts, claiming that they were doing things with securities, but leaving aside whole other parts of different ecosystems, right? We're not trying to regulate swords in World of Warcraft, but you could argue they fail all the same tests he's arguing for.
Are tokens securities or commodities?
Well, the point is nobody knows, and somebody has to create a comprehensive
test.
rule.
If you're getting
the Howey test is not.
Why not?
Because it's not designed for this ecosystem. I'm with Hester Peirce on this at the SEC. She sort of has this framework with what we should be focused on is capital raising. That's what the SEC should be worried about. If you're raising capital by issuing tokens to then go effect a purpose, that's a security. That's a security. We can talk about that. That's not really what the Howey rule is, and that's not really what most of these enforcement actions are about.
A lot of this would be securities then.
It would be, but the point is we need legislation. This isn't going to get solved by the stroke of a pen at the SEC's desk. We need Congress to work. They already are on stablecoins. I think that's where we're going to start breaking this dam open. Hopefully this year we'll actually get some action on that.
They're starting stablecoin. What's the distinction here that you want to make?
So stablecoins are basically money market funds that you use for payment on crypto rails. They're like USDC is a big common one. Some of them recently broke the peg, as it were, when we had a little mini banking crisis you might have remembered from a few weeks ago. A good set of legislation is on the table to basically bring them under the umbrella, actually have them being regulated by the Fed, because effectively they're going to be money market instruments. I'm a fan of that. I'm hoping we see some action and actually get some votes on it.
And what about the whole jurisdictional dispute between the SEC and the CFTC? This is historic. It goes back, since the dawn of the commodities markets. These are CFTC primarily grew out of agricultural regulation.
Yeah. Look, the whole, is it a commodity or security thing? I think having two regulators argue about it is the wrong way to solve this problem. I think we have to have legislation that realizes digital assets are different and they need different sets of rules.
And what's the chances that we're going to actually get legislation?
Well, I think we'll get stablecoin at least a shot at it this year. That might break it open to be a post-campaign issue, so 2025, maybe.
Good handicapping right there. I don't know. Given the dysfunction in Congress, they can't even lift the debt ceiling for crying out loud. We had Speaker McCarthy here today berating the Biden administration for failing to negotiate on the debt ceiling. That seems like something that's not that hard to negotiate. Okay, folks, you heard a lot of topics here, but we're trying to go through a lot right now. Gensler's going to be testifying tomorrow. We'll have coverage of that as well on CNBC, and I'll have a Trader Talk out tomorrow morning on CNBC.com.